जो गुड़ाए इनकमिंग गुड़ाए आउटगोइंग अच्छी से सब जगार आम यूज करुचे मेन बस बार एंड रिजर्व बस बार बट तुमको मुझे एग्जांपल देली आजिकल ऑलमोस्ट नुहे गुड़ाए तुम जेनेट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड रे ट्रांसमिशन एंड रे वी आर यूजिंग बोथ द मेन बस बार एंड द रिजर्व बस बार कॉस्टली हो जाऊँगी बट स्टिल देन मेंटेनेंस योर टेस्टिंग योर शटडाउन इज वेरी इजी in case of there is a main bus bar and there is a reserve bus bar. Even tomorrow duplicate is a main bus bar, reserve bus bar. Then write down what are the advantages. What are the advantage? Number one, main bus bar can be maintained. Can be main bus bar can be maintained. Write down main bus bar can be maintained. Write down number two. If a fault occurs on the bus bar, if a fault occurs on the bus bar, if a fault occurs on the bus bar, the continuity of supply the continuity of supply to the circuit can be maintained. So this is about your duplicate bus bar system or reserve bus bar system. Fine. Like then you come to the switchgear accommodation. You come to the point switchgear accommodation. Come to the point switchgear accommodation. So I was discussing in detail about your switchgear in generating station, switchgear in transmission station, switchgear in distribution station. Now the question arises, how you have to keep, whether it is indoor type or it is outdoor type. So this is known as the switchgear accommodation. I already first class detail discuss karchi, you can refer to my first class. What I have discussed? Now switchgear is a very large word. It consists of breaker, isolator, PT, CT, transformer, a relay, battery. It is a large word. Your bus bar, your feeder, it is a large word. Switchgear. So switchgear accommodation, kounthi rakhibo taku neiki. Now it may be outdoor type, it may be indoor type. Now what is this meaning? Now ghara kari ta bhitere rakhi habo. That is indoor type of switchgear arrangement, indoor type of substation. Ghara bahare rakhi habo, padare. Most of the grid station are outside. In Odisha, in India, most of the switchgears are outside. Kintu control room, battery room inside, ghara bhitere. Control room. जो रिले रोची रिले जो बैटेरी रोची सीटा इनसाइड गोटे ग्रिड को तुम जदि जीव नाउ इन ओडिशा देयर आर 234 ग्रिड्स जदि तुम ग्रिड्स को जीव तुम देखि परिबो तुमर स्विच एकटा बाहर भितरे होउची तुमर कंट्रोल रूम ना कंट्रोल रूम भितर कोन अछि यू मे आस्क मी देखिथिबो ऑलमोस्ट कंट्रोल रूम भितर कोन अछि रिलेज आर देयर बैटरी इज देयर. So this is your switchgear accommodation. Write down depending upon the voltage to be handled, depending upon the voltage, depending upon the voltage to be handled, depending upon the voltage to be handled, switchgear may be handled. Switchgear may be broadly classified. Switchgear may be broadly classified into ଦି ଭାଗରେ ଭାଗ କରାଯାଇଛି. Number 1 outdoor type, outdoor type. Number 2 indoor type. So switchgear or switchgear जोंठी तुम रोचे सर्किट ब्रेकर, जोंठी तुम रोचे आइसोलेटर, जोंठी रोचे तुम ट्रांसफार्मर, जोंठी तुम रोचे सीटी, जोंठी तुम रोचे पीटी, जोंठी तुम रोचे लाइटनिंग अरेस्टर, ये सबू जोंठी रखा जाई थाए योर कंट्रोल रूम, बैटरी रूम, ये सबुड़ाक जोंठी बाहर रखा जाई थाए कंट्रोल रूम टा कहूनी मु ताकू कहती आउटडोर टाइप. जनरली जो भोल्टेजटा हाई हुए, भोल्टेजटा हाई बिकॉज क्लियरेंस विल बी मोर. इनडोर टाइप इज नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू इनडोर टाइप टू हैंडल पावर एट इनडोर टाइप. घर भितर कहीं स्पेस बहुत दरकार हो विराट बड़ कंस्ट्रक्शन करने पड़ो. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. सो वोल्टेज बिलो 66 kV, बिलो 66 kV मीन्स वोल्टेज अप टू 440, 11 kV, 33 kV, below 66 kV, we are preferring indoor type substation. Voltage above 66 kV, 66 kV, 132 kV, 220 kV, 400 kV, 750 kV, 1000 kV, 1250 kV. Line voltage. What I am discussing about the line voltage. Confuse habani. Whatever I am discussing about the line voltage. A range voltage asile above 66 kV, we are using the outdoor type of substation. Fine. Generally, the cost of the indoor type of substation is very high because entire system we have to do the cabling system. Cable through namaku padibo. Insulation problem is a major issue. Insulation problem is a major issue in indoor type substation. But in industry, generally they are using the indoor type of substation. But in the distribution stations, in the grid station, we are using the outdoor type substation. Clear? So, outdoor type means above 66 kV and indoor type means less than 66 kV. It is very costly type of system. घर भितर करने पड़ो. इन्सुलेशन प्रॉब्लम इज ए मेजर इश्यू. गुड़ा प्रॉब्लम रहुची. बट आउटडोर टाइप लैंड रिक्वायर्ड इज मोर. This is also a problem. Outdoor type more. Generally nowadays, वर्तमान जो ग्रिड स्टेशन तैयारी करा जाउची, it is out of the city. City to 10-12 किलोमीटर 15 किलोमीटर दूर तैयारी करा जाउची. Because land required is more. In case of outdoor type substation. Clear? Then write down short circuit. Write down short circuit. write down short circuit. Whenever a fault occurs, on a network, such that a large current flows in one or more phases is called short circuit current. Short circuit current. ଗୋଟେ example ଦେଖଉଛି. For example, this is a single phase generator. This is a single phase generator. Load impedance. This is your generator impedance. This is your load impedance. And this is your phase voltage. This is phase and neutral. This is your phase voltage. Single phase generator. I am giving example of a single phase generator. A choto Honda generator, single phase generator. For example, there is a fault occurs in this point. Fault tight ହେଇଗଲା. ତ କ'ଣ ହେଇଯାଉଛି ନା directly short. This is your short circuit current because load is zero. Or you can tell what is the current. Actually, what is the current? Now I is equal to V by generator impedance plus load impedance. In case of short circuit, ZL is equal to 0, or you can write ISC is equal to V by ZI. Generator impedance. Only it is coming the generator impedance. Generator impedance is very less because it is mostly inductive in nature. Reactance mostly reactance. Resistive part is very less. Resistive part आसीबो जाई तमर आसी गले कोन की तमर ट्रांसमिशन लाइन ऊपर आसी गले आसीबो रेजिस्टेंस. You take the your generator, you take your circuit breaker, you take your transformer, mostly your inductive type of load. Reactance. Fine. Then write down fault in power system. Write down fault in power system. Fault in power system. Fault in power system. So, I am discussing in different situation fault, short circuit current. Now, question rises how fault is coming. Now, fault may be internal type or fault may be external type. For example, तुम घर भितर गोटे बुलुची गोटे तुम फैन भितर शॉर्ट सर्किट हो गला ड्यू टू फेलियर ऑफ द इन्सुलेशन. So, this is a short circuit, this is a fault between line and neutral. For example, तुम घरे in your house तुम you are testing करूछ. टेस्टिंग करिया समय फेज आ न्यूट्रल टा शॉर्ट हो गला. So this is a line and neutral fault. So there are different types of faults are there. One fault is line to neutral. There are three phases, R phase, Y phase, B phase. समस्ते जानी चाहिए, that is line voltage. आउ गोटे जाउची कोन? Fourth line is your neutral. जदि line neutral बाजी गला ताले, this is known as the line to neutral fault. Then another fault is line to line. Line to line. I will show you. This is your a color code देनी ठीक. There are R phase, Y phase, B phase, neutral. Fine. 80 गोटे short है गला. This is your distribution line. When line is going different point in the city, जेतबे तुम देखि दिबो distribution transformer को चारटा तार बाहर को जाईची. 3 phases and 1 neutral. जदि गोटे phase को neutral touch है गला. Regions are different. Different regions are there. कौन पाई short है जाउची. गोटे गच्छ डाल पड़ी गला का ऊपर ना B phase और neutral भितरे. So this is the example of a line to neutral short circuit. For example, ए दीटा short है गला. This is your line to line short circuit. Then your line to line short circuit. এই বলে গোটে শর্ট হয়ে গলা. তিনটা তার শর্ট হয়ে গলা. গোটে গছ ডালটা যাই পড়ি গলা কা উপরে কিংবা স্নেক চড়ি গলা লাইন উপরে. সো দিস ইজ এ line to line fault. Then you come line to earth fault. For example, এই তারটা ছিড়ি গলা, বি তারটা earth রে পড়ি গলা. So this is line to earth fault. Line to earth fault. Then you double line to earth fault. Double line to earth fault. Double line to earth fault. এই দুইটা তারা ছিড়ি গলা. ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ କହୁଛି ଆର୍ଥରେ ପଡ଼ିଗଲା. କାହିଁ ୟୁ ମେ ଆସ୍କ ମି ସାର୍ କାହିଁ ପଡ଼ିଗଲା? ପବନ ହେଉଛି, ସାଇକ୍ଲୋନ ସମୟରେ ଖସି ପଡ଼ୁଛି, ତାର ଛିଡ଼ି ଯାଉଛି ସବୁ. ଗଛ ପଡ଼ିଯାଉଛି, ଗଛ ପଡ଼ିକି ଲାଇନ୍ ଛିଡ଼ି ହେଇଯାଉଛି. ସୋ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ସିଚୁଏସନ୍ସ ଆର୍ ଦେୟାର. ଫଲ୍ଟ ଇଜ୍ ଅଲୱେଜ୍ ଇନଭାଇଟେବଲ୍. କେତେବେଳେ ଫଲ୍ଟ ହେବ କ'ଣ ହେବ ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନଟ୍ ପ୍ରେଡିକ୍ଟ. କିଛି କହିପାରିବନି କେତେବେଳେ ଫଲ୍ଟ ହେବ. So this is your different type of faults. Line to neutral fault, line to line fault, line to line triple line fault, line to earth fault, double line to earth fault. Then you can tell faults can be classified. Write down, faults can be classified fault can be classified faults can be classified into two types. Classified into two types. The प्रकार fault. Number one, write down, very important. Symmetrical fault. So faults are inevitable. ମୁଁ ତୁମକୁ ବାରମ୍ବାର କହୁଛି fault ହେବ କିଛି କରିହେବନି. Fault is always inevitable. Fault ହେବ. Different types of fault ମୁଁ discuss କଲି. Different situation ମୁଁ discuss କଲି. Inside the house, inside the institution, inside the town, inside the city, inside the village. Fault ता हमारा maximum chance. बहुत समय in the your forest area साप चढ़ी जाए लाइन ऊपर पूरा डेड शॉर्ट सर्किट कर दबो. बड़ बड़ चढ़े बसी जानती on the transmission line. So fault is different types. Again, faults can be classified in electrical language, in the power system engineer language. We are dividing the faults into two categories. Write down number one, write down symmetrical fault. Symmetrical fault. Number two, unsymmetrical fault. Faults can be classified into two categories. One is symmetrical fault, another is unsymmetrical fault. Lekho. So, what is the symmetrical fault? What is the symmetrical fault? Number one, now equal in magnitude. So, there are three phases, R phase, Y phase, B phase. If fault current in R phase equal to fault current in Y phase is equal to fault current in B phase, IR is equal to IY is equal to IB, and angle between the three phases is 120 degree. We are calling this is a symmetrical fault. This is a symmetrical fault. This is a symmetrical fault. When the magnitude of the three currents are equal, IR, this is your IY, this is your IB. When the IR is equal to IY, IR is equal to IY is equal to IB, magnitude equal, and angle between them is 120 degree. Angle between them is 120 degree. We are calling this is a symmetrical fault current. Clear or not? Any doubt? Jodi the magnitude of the fault current is equal in all the three phases and angle between the three phases is equal to 120 degree, we are calling this is a symmetrical fault current. Clear? Then you come to the unsymmetrical fault current. IR is not equal to IY, is not equal to IB, and the angle is unequal. Angle is unequal. When the magnitude of the fault current is unequal and angle between them is unequal, we are calling this is a unsymmetrical fault current. So, there are two types of fault current. One is it 120 degree, no, it may be 60 degree. So, in power system engineers language, electrical engineers language, we are calling there are two types of faults. Faults are different types. Faults can happen in any time. Faults basically we are dividing into two types. One is symmetrical fault, another is unsymmetrical fault. Mutam example dali. This is a symmetrical fault and this is a unsymmetrical fault. Like how? Clear? So, I have completed your introduction to switchgear system. I will give you some assignment questions. Question किसी तरह को पढ़ी तुमको. Fine. Write down. See page 8 sorry gala on some assignment questions. You have to show me. Write down number 1. What do you understand by switchgear? What do you understand? What do you understand by switchgear? ମୁଁ ବାରମ୍ବାର ତୁମକୁ କହି ଚାଲିଛି ସୁଇଚ୍ ଗିୟାର, ରିଲେ, ବ୍ରେକର, ଲାଇଟିଂ ରେଜିଷ୍ଟର, ଆଇସୋଲେଟର, ବ୍ୟାଟେରୀ, ରିଲେ. So what do you mean by switch gear? Switch gear মানে কোন? It's a very vast word. What do you mean by switch gear? You have to show me. Then write down number 2. Difference between switch gear difference between switchgear, switchgear switchgear नहीं, switch and circuit breaker रखा, difference between switch and circuit breaker. Then you write difference between fuse and circuit breaker. Number 4, write down question laka. Different types of bus bar arrangement. 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 Last question. Various method. Various method of accommodating high voltage switch gear. So this is all about your introduction to switchgear.